As most of you know, my name is Palmer Whittington, and I am a senior here at SAS. I am from Memphis, Tennessee. This is my first and last year at SAS, and I came here to end my high school experience in the best way I could. In Exodus 34, 29 through 35, we see the fear that Aaron and all the Israelites had when they saw the face of Moses shining. It was like nothing they had seen before, and it made them uncomfortable. I relate to this fear. Fear has been a very common theme in my life. I have attended a different school every year of high school. I have had to adjust and have faith that everything would work out. I had to put trust in my parents and my teachers that they are going to help me become the young adult I aspire to be. During Christmas of sophomore year, I left for boarding school. I had never lived anywhere but Memphis and had never been without my mom, my dad, and my sister Rowan. I had never been without any of my family, and I had never known independence. I was terrified to be on my own without my parents right by my side, helping me navigate through everything. I was heartbroken to leave my sister Rowan. I honestly did not think that I could do it. Through the experience of boarding, I have learned how to be independent and take care of myself, which I am grateful for because I will not have to tackle that obstacle when I go to UT next year. Sending me to boarding school was the best decision that my parents ever made for me. During the spring of last year, my junior year, my parents and I made the decision for me to attend SAS for my senior year. I was extremely nervous due to the fact that being a new senior wasn't exactly common, and all of these kids had been together for a long time. I feared there would not be a place where I belonged. I am the kind of person who likes to control everything. I like to know what is going to happen, and I am not a fan of surprise. I really struggle with putting trust in people and having faith that they want what's best for me. I even struggle with trusting my loved ones. My parents knew that SAS would be the best place for me to end my high school career. I have no idea how they knew this, they just did. My parents are divorced, yet they are a team. They are a team when it comes to raising me and my sister and making sure we get everything we want out of life. My parents are my lifeline. I have taken after both of them in specific ways. My dad likes to control the situation, whatever the situation may be. He sees things in black and white and does not like any surprises, just like me. My dad is a fixer. He gets distressed when he can't fix things, not only for himself, but for me. I also like to fix things. I do not like things that are not in my control. He protects me fearlessly and always fights for me. My dad and I differ when it comes to boundaries. My dad is no pushover. He sets boundaries and sticks to them, and I envy that. He has no issue with the word no. Sometimes he comes off harsh, but he does everything he does because he loves me. I have the habit of never trusting my dad's intentions, but in the end I am always proven wrong. He always does what is best for me, even if I do not agree in the moment. My mom loves unconditionally. She feels things deeply, and I am the same way. My mom has a heart of gold. Sometimes she gets herself into trouble because she puts others' needs before her own and is afraid to say no. I also carry this trait. I think it's fear of rejection that makes us do this. We give and we give and we give, and sometimes we don't have enough to give ourselves. I can't speak for my mom on this, but personally, I fear if I do say no or do not do everything that is asked of me from my peers and others, that they will no longer care about me. Logically, I know that if they're your quote-unquote true friends, that they will care for you even if you do not give them what they want, but my subconscious tells me otherwise. I envy my mother's ability to always know exactly what to say and when to say it. My mom is also very protective of me like my father. I often find myself in arguments with them because they hold firm boundaries and do not always give in to what I want. I think that they are doing it to be mean or annoying, but in reality they are just trying to do what is right for their daughter. They have worked together, especially in the past 5 years, to make sure that I am set up for success. I share this about my relationship with my parents because they are the ones who taught me and encouraged me to tackle my fears. They are the ones who have always believed in me and my abilities. You're probably thinking to yourself, where is she going with this? Well, I have some advice for all of the students who follow our senior class. When I came to SAS, I made a promise to myself. I promised myself that I would not get too close to anyone here. I would just get my diploma and graduate. This didn't exactly work out for me. Sure, I've definitely had my ups and downs with SAS, but this school provided me with friends that I will have with me for the rest of my life. Friends that I have been able to trust and turn to when I needed help. It took a lot for me to trust these new people, but I did it and benefited tremendously. Same goes for faculty. I've always had trouble trusting adults. I do not know why, but I have. I have a few adults on this campus that I go to with my everyday problems, and they have become my parents away from home. If you think for 1 second that you cannot find at least one person on this campus, faculty or student, that does not care about you, then you are wrong. I have hurt myself by trying to handle everything on my own. As teenagers, we carry a lot of weight on our backs. We go to a really challenging school. It is a really heavy workload. There are always friend issues or family issues that can weigh on us too. I advise you to put your fears aside of judgment or rejection and lean into those who care about you and your future. Find someone you can connect to and lean into them. I noticed instantly which adults on campus I connected with, and they have been a major support system for me. All you have to do is ask, and they will sit down with you and talk, I promise. I would have had it a lot easier during middle school and my first few years of high school if I did. Another piece of advice, your parents or guardians are not evil. You might think that I'm kidding, but they really do just want what's best for their children. You would not be sitting in this room at this school if your caregivers did not. Sure, some of the rules might stink sometimes because we want to be able to control our own lives, but they are there for a reason. We might not always agree with everything, but we are provided with an amazing education and great friends here at SAS. I also want to leave you with something to think about. Our school is not perfect, and there is always work to be done. The SAS community does a pretty good job of making sure everyone has a place, but I want you to ask yourself if you are really doing everything you possibly can here. What can you do to make this school a better place? And to the juniors specifically, our senior class is leaving very shortly. Very soon, you will become the leaders of this campus, the ones that are looked up to. You will shape the community in many ways, and I hope you all really think about what is the best way to do that. High school is supposed to be 4 of the best years of your life, and sadly, this has not been my experience. I struggle by not trusting the ones who love me and by not having faith in them. Do not let your fear of rejection, heartbreak, or any other fear get in the way of you living the life that you want to live. It has taken me so long to stop being willful and to just trust. I've grown so much as a young woman by doing so. I've matured, and I've recognized genuine relationships due to the fact that I just let go. The Israelites put their faith and the trust in the Lord and found fulfillment in their lives. As human beings, we cannot go through life alone without help from others. It is extremely difficult to surrender and trust in something greater than yourself. For me, that applies to both my family and the Lord. Very recently, I made a promise to myself that I would do everything in my power to trust my parents. I need them as I embark on this new journey in my life. I know in my heart that I cannot become a successful adult without their guidance. My goal in life is to become a combination of them. Together, my mother and father have all of the characteristics that I strive to contain within myself. It has also been a struggle for me to trust in God. My relationship with God is a roller coaster, to say the least. I always believe in Him, and I always know that He is there. I just find myself doubting Him. In my lifetime, I've gone through a lot of traumatic events that have left permanent scars. Instead of leaning into God, I doubt Him every time something bad happens, and I ask myself the question, if God is so good, then why would He allow that to happen? And then I think of my parents, again. My parents have both endured several traumatic events themselves, and I've watched both of them lean into the Lord and not only become better people, but better parents for Rowan and myself. My fear of being hurt, rejected, and unloved has caused me to push away the people that I love and need in my life, such as my parents, my sister, my family, and God. As I am about to move on from SAS and into adulthood, I take away with me many life lessons. It is okay to ask for help. It is okay not always to know exactly what to do, and fear does nothing but hold you back. You have to work hard in order to expect results. You have to work hard in your academics, your relationships, and in life in general. As I leave SAS, I know I need to set my fears aside and trust in the Lord and my parents to help guide me to continue to become the woman I aspire to be. Thank you.